wait and do and be as pure as she can be from the point of view of love. Not to bypass love, because the ego is a heart bypass.
Yes.
For sure. So if in that opera we were discussing, she has father issues, you say. So the father presents this, the whole family will be destroyed if she stays with the son. The son's sitting there and he's saying, who cares what the father says, you're my love, and it doesn't matter what.
He doesn't say that because he's unaware.
He's not
So,
aware.
actually,
He
can
can't
I-
see beyond
for-
his own desire for his life, his woman, his world as he wants to design it.
Yes, we started recording a bit in the middle of a conversation that has been going on for a few minutes and weeks,
A lifetime.
a lifetime, and also that has followed several hours of lots of insights. So maybe for our viewers, can we back up a minute and what are we actually talking about? Because you were in the heats of passions or the throes of passion in your explanation.
So the dialogue is about, it starts with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And the question is, who leaves who?
Yes.
The woman leaves or the man leaves? And
Yes.
that's where
And
we're at.
actually, this little, no, I don't want to say it's not little, but this passionate moment that you had came after I said the original sin lies with man, where he left woman without explaining.
Yeah, there was no communication.
There was no communication. He just left, or he didn't communicate well enough, or he didn't communicate long enough. We haven't explored or figured that out or whatever.
Well,
but
I actually did a diagram just a minute ago which explains everything.
okay, then show me the diagram because I haven't seen it yet.
Right, I showed you.
Ah, yes, that diagram, yes.
Okay, so basically this is, okay, so there's source, and source is sitting there, and source is trying to get to know itself just as source, but it's in this area of,
Wait, I'm going to turn off the fan because the only fan that we have here
okay,
making noise.
here we have source here, and then we have source with an inner struggle. And source wants to know how to get to know itself. So, source generates a thought. Okay, there's some places that are not explainable. Projects the
Get.
thought of exploration outward. So it goes up and out and comes
That would be the
around this
original
way.
sin of man, let's say, where thought is but an aspect of source, and he projects it outward, leaving all the rest behind.
Leaving this part behind,
Which
which is
would-
also source.
Which we would say that source is the masculine, the mental, as far as we've
The mind.
gotten so far.
Exactly.
Maybe the mind.
All right.
And then there is the heart that is left behind without mind, without knowing what to do,
Yeah. Because the heart is a potential. And when we have potential energy, that's great. But unless we can harness that energy and direct it, which the mind can do very well, then it's hard to know what to do with it. So, anyway, the masculine aspect, the mind, projects itself outward using thought. And
That's where I came up with that the original sin lies with man.
right.
However, then I said something that was very controversial.
Wait,
Because
no, I
said
have to
all
finish
the other
this.
sins were created
Yeah,
by
yeah,
a woman.
you did say that. Mhm.
And then you said that's inaccurate. So
I did,
tell me
yes.
first that, and then we will see at your diagram.
No, we're going to go with the diagram.
Oof.
Because otherwise it doesn't give context to what I'm about to say. So
Okay.
basically, I'll run through it quickly. The mind projects itself outward without communicating. The heart now feels left alone and abandoned. And so this part of the self, the heart, felt left by the mind. And then the mind is off exploring just to get to know itself better. the abandoned self responds by, okay, so this goes out this way, and then the feminine aspect or heart goes downwards and upwards. And we have now a sine wave. This is the masculine going outward, and this is the feminine coming downward and upward, looking for the mind, the heart looking for the mind, the feminine looking for the masculine. But it actually happens at exactly the same time. So in that way, the whole situation is co-created, maybe in unawareness.
So there is no original sin. The man is not to blame and the woman is not to blame.
Yeah, because they actually have the exact same experience. Like the woman has all this, he left me, I'm abandoned, I'm just going to go out there and find him. And the masculine is feeling that the woman left, and now she's off doing whatever, and what's she doing? She should be waiting for me at home. I don't know what the mind is thinking.
She should stay here nicely put. Well,
Yeah.
She should stay here nicely put so
Waiting
that I can
for
go
him
and
to
explore
return.
it.
Yeah,
Waiting for me to
exactly.
return.
So-
However, now you are. I knew that you were there when I left you. However, you are now here or
Yeah.
here or here, and now it's much more difficult for me to find you.
Exactly. So both have a similar experience from opposite perceptions. That's the whole point. So meantime, after the thought projects itself outward to explore and get to know itself, boom, ego comes in. And ego comes in very big.
But from
And-
where does ego come? That's something that I haven't.
Well, I feel these are programs. I feel the mind is a digital program, and I feel that I can't prove this, but I feel that the feminine is a natural program. So it would be the heart program, and so you have analog and digital happening.
Yeah, so actually we are exploring duality here, feminine, masculine,
Yeah.
analog, digital, or biological, digital.
Heart, mind, love, fear.
Yeah.
It really can expand. So you're
Love-
coming
love
from
is all, and fear
opposite.
does not exist, but so I don't think
Well,
it's the
I
best.
think that fear is, we could have a huge conversation about fear, because I think it's just love that's not conscious. And so it's kind of the backside of love. And fear, how it operates is love is sitting there as a potential. Love is this, doesn't give, doesn't take, it just is.
It is what
And
exactly still is in the zero.
fear wants to overtake love and control love, and it's impossible to do that. And this is where you said the initial error, or not error, but
Yeah, no, but sin, I mean sin not as in the religious sense,
Mistake was that
but
there
no,
was
it's
no
not a
communication.
mistake. Sin, I think, is like, I don't remember in Greek something, sin means like, yeah, maybe like erring, like going on a different path or something like that. I would have to
Well,
look
each
it
of
up.
the programs
But-
develop themselves as they go.
But
okay?
I would say now that we are talking about love and fear, love is still here. Love remained.
Yeah.
And both the masculine and the feminine aspect
Go away from it.
went away from love, with love still being there,
Yeah.
and still actually being the thing that,
Yeah.
that is source, that it's
Yeah.
where everything came from. And all the rest is actually fear. And
Mm-hmm.
the further you go, the farther you are the farther you are from love, the more you are in fear.
Yeah.
But actually it's still all love because it's there, but you are in unawareness because now you are so far from your starting point that you are more
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in deeper, darker space, so to speak.
And imagine that both programs develop in a devolving way, as
Yes.
you're saying. So you asked where ego comes from. I would
Because let's say the connection, if you would just think in a linear way, if this is the source of love and you are very far away, the love would be less strong or less strongly felt, which would then leave more possibility for fear and doubt and all those things to
Right.
creep in.
So if you have programs that are developing, that are self-evolving or devolving in this case, until they start to evolve again, then you'll have a digital program, that's where your ego comes in. And ego is a total bypass of the heart. So now we have man completely lost in all of the distractions and toys and sex without love and all kinds of what are they called, passions of the material world, and then you have the feminine who initially remembers all of that and knows that love is, in order for wholeness, the coming together again is eventually going to be the answer. But what does she do? She goes out and she starts like going deeper and deeper and acting like searching for a man, this man or the source, the other half, or whatever you want to call it. And when this search
This
is
other
going
aspect.
on, the other aspect, she's searching outward, outward, outward. Never does she come inside herself and say, where am I? Who am I? What am I? What is love? It's just determined by what's being seen on the outside, going lower and lower, sinking lower and lower, searching for her man, imagining what does the man want? Oh, he wants, this or that or whatever. Not looking into the psychology of woman or of themselves, not looking into their own psyche. So now we have a mess. And basically, I think when I drew this diagram and when I started to talk about this, with the ego operating as a heart bypass, and then
Yes, but where does the ego stem from?
I think it's part of the digital program that developed early on. Like, remember I said it was a self-evolving program, both the natural program, self-evolving, and the digital program is self-evolving. The digital program is not, okay, they're very different programs. They're different programs. But when you bring them together, you have a complete thought. you have the return of all the fear, all the love, and you have everything coming, culmination right in the source still point.
Yeah, I feel it really needs a lot of development
It
this year,
does.
yes, because
I
I
just
find the
drew
whole...
this like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but I find the whole ego, it does not make sense to me yet. Because either the ego is on the masculine side, and then what does the woman has? What's the equivalent of the natural ego? If the ego is digital, there must be an equivalent in the natural side or the... I think we are jumbling up a little bit too many things here.
What the feminine did was they started to copy man and started to be like man. And I think that definitely ego is part of, for sure, definitely ego is part of the feminine experience. But I think it might be utilized differently. And I think...
And can you explore that then?
Well, if it's accurate that the masculine goes out in exploration and gets lost basically in its own, material world, and then the feminine leaves because she's been abandoned, she has to find that aspect of herself. She's looking for the mind.
But couldn't it be that actually the woman creates the masculine aspect or the material aspect in which the masculine aspect can get lost? It would be a co-creation at an even higher level, because the woman creates the material world in which the man can get lost.
Yeah, that's maybe oversimplified. I think that absolutely, this is a co-creation from the beginning, and it's still a co-creation. So it might come down to communication, it might come down to transparency, it might come down to the unveiling of fear and exposing fear. It might, like you say, it does. I have written a lot about this, so I could say a lot, but for now, this is just something that came because you said, well, I think initially the man made the first move out and didn't communicate with the feminine. Okay, maybe. But then, the rest is the fault of the feminine. And I think it's both, because say man gets lost in the material world, and then what does the woman do? She doesn't go to herself, she doesn't look inward, she doesn't look at her psyche, she doesn't look at her own psychology, she doesn't look at any of that. It's all about, I was abandoned and I was left, and now I have to find my man, and I'm going to do everything and to do that. So it means selling out every aspect of what it means to be feminine. We are so far from even having a comprehensive understanding of what feminine and masculine is at this point, in our experience, in my opinion. So if the feminine aspect that goes out to find the man continues to look outward and never looks within, how will she ever find what she's looking for? She'll try all the things, she'll act like a man, she'll be having babies to try and fill herself, or she'll become the CEO of the mega multinational company of the world, or, she can do all of these things, but they don't fill her. And until she can look within.
And fill herself?
Within herself.
And fill herself is a question.
I think it's, maybe you're saying it a way, I would describe it as getting to know love, and that love that's within. So if that's what you mean by filling herself, because these are opposite aspects of one whole, and so when the man can rise above ego,
Sorry, little distraction.
if the man can rise above ego and actually get an overview of love, then it will know itself again completely. When the woman can reunite with love within, yes, I guess that's what you call filling yourself, or filling herself, I'm not sure. But both have the same job, and both have the same
Yes.
quandaries, and both have the same problems with the opposite gender, or not gender, actually, it's much more than gender. Gender is not related, I don't think, to masculine and feminine, but those aspects of mind and heart. So, mind needs to realize heart, heart needs to realize mind.
Yes, I must say the last part makes me a lot calmer because I was feeling it was very unsatisfactory for a lot of minutes. And well, I think we should continue exploring this because it's still in its infancy, our comprehension of this topic. But
Well, it's interesting, we haven't actually had this dialogue and you're actually recording it, so.
yes, because what I feel could also be because we are talking about the masculine, and actually in all this time we haven't really addressed the masculine so far.
But
And I can tell you honestly, I have no clue what the masculine is. I have some experience with some aspects of the feminine which I'm less than thrilled about, but
But you know something? Love rules the realm. And I feel I want to really acknowledge you
I would.
for allowing me to speak without getting all triggered, because I probably did say some things that might have been received as disharmonious. I don't know.
Well,
But I am really saying,
I think I wasn't triggered maybe so much, but I did feel this harmony within myself. So
Yeah.
actually maybe I did what was supposed to be done, which is feel inside the self what is happening. So I was not
Well, it's-
projecting outward. I was not even doing any effort to not interrupt you or whatever. I was,
no,
however,
but you
feeling
heard me,
things
you
inside.
allowed me to speak.
Yes.
And I feel like you're processing it now. And I hope and I say this to myself, I'm speaking to the feminine aspect. I mean, you've brought that to me. You've been able to really allow for the space for me to go inside and look at all of the trauma, the fear, the unexplained feelings that may come up that have a lot to do with the collective feminine. So the dialogue should continue for sure.
Yes.
And I do want to land on the end, I really feel it's a co-creation, equal co-creation.
Yes.
And
Well,
communication
that is my sense. That is what the thing what would make sense. However, I haven't seen it yet fully explained, and that's probably because we have to now start prying into the masculine, which I am fully open for, though, yeah, of course, always there's a bit of trepidation that is not real. However, there's one last thing I would like to land on, because I didn't interrupt you at some moment where you said that love rules the realm, and I do not feel that is accurate. Because love doesn't rule. Love is the realm, and the realm is love. And fear rules the realm, which is maybe, as you said earlier, unrealized love. So if you want to be sophistic or whatever you call it about it, Sophianic about it, then you can say yes, it's accurate. But
Well, when
I
I
feel
say
love is the
rules,
realm,
though, I
and
mean
the realm
love
is love.
And there's no capturing it, there's no controlling it, like, there's the illusion of that, which presents as fear, so you could be correct that I used an inaccurate, description.
Well, it's the coupling of love and ruling seems to me feels inaccurate. It's love is the realm, and the realm is love. And what rules is the unrealized love, which is fear.
Yeah, I don't buy into that fear rules personally. But I see what you're saying. I mean, that is how it appears for sure.
Yes, that's how it appears, yes.
And really, I think communication is key on many, many levels. It's not just through this verbal or this venue of recording. It's all in our perception. What's presenting and what attitude do we have towards what's presenting in any given situation? Do I come from what I have experienced and have learned about love, or does it come from what I have experienced and learned about fear? Am I drawing on fear to approach this situation in front of me, whatever it is? Or am I drawing on the unknown, or what I might have, if I've just touched the flavor of love, do I bring that in and work with the situation that's in front of me? So everything comes to perception to create the reality that we might be in. So it's all love.
Okay. Enough with the filming. Do the kissing now. Yeah, woo.
So
Okay.
at these moments,